Hello and welcome to my craft room. Just checking I'm actually recording and the sound is working. Yes, had a mishap earlier on. So when this video goes out, it will be Friday, the last day of February, the 28th of February. And it's only just over a month until the next swap is due to start. Now you notice I'm not saying the next great big little stitchery swap. There are changes afoot. I'll say no more. My intro video will be coming out on Sunday. I've scheduled it to go out very first thing on Sunday the 2nd of March. While I think about it, don't forget that tomorrow is our monthly Arty Farty party. I have some beautiful goodies in the party bag to give away. Yeah, really lovely things that have been donated by people all over the world, so really excited about that. So join us if you can. I will put a link to that in the description box to this video so you can find it easily, and you can go there now and set a notification if you like so that you don't miss it. You can also go there the day after to watch it with all the live chat. Anyway, enough of that. That's not what we're doing today. So I have got my couple of books that I've been working on, which are now finished, with lots of squares from the previous stitchery swaps. I've got one more downstairs that I'm just finishing up, so I will come back and do a flip through all of them really soon. So now I've got my tags from the last swap, and what I want to do is make a little book for them, and I'd really like to get that finished before the new swap starts on the 1st of April. So I've thought of a method that I think will be reasonably quick to do. Let me show you what I've got. So here's a pile of lovely goodies that I got, little extra loveliness that I got in with my swaps. Lots and lots of things there. I won't be using them all. There isn't space to use them all, but I've put them all here to draw from. I've also got some fabrics from my stash that I would quite like to use. I love these batik prints. I love that they're the same both sides. That can be really handy as well. I love this print with the stamps, and I've been trying to carry that through my books because I think it's just because they're all British stamps. I think it's nice, fits in well with the whole thing of sending the swaps all over the world. But yeah, so I've got a mixture of things there, and then I've got some plain calico, a whole lot of that. Not plain calico, it's curtain lining, and some interlining as well, which I'll probably use for the cover. Oh, and in here, of course, the most important thing is all of my tags. I've got 33 tags there. I am just doing a bit of time travel to come back in time to the beginning of this video and cut a long story short, because I did a lot of experimenting with this project and I don't want it to all get too confusing. So this is where I've ended up at the end of the video, and I'll be coming back next time to show how this whole thing will be finally assembled and how I make the cover for it. So this is going to be my little tag book, and it will fold up concertina style. So the tags will pop in like this. I've got each person's, I've created a little pocket along here, all cut in one piece, and the person who made the tag, I've embroidered their name on each of the pockets using this gorgeous variegated thread that Annette sent me with my swap. The tags will all pop into the pockets that will be stitched through like this. The tags will all be popped in here, and then the whole lot will fold up concertina wise to create a nice fat little book. It was going to get way too fat if I do, because I was going to go for twice the number of tags and end up with some in the back as well. The whole the process has kind of evolved as we've gone along. So if you would like to follow along and make a tag book like this, this will hold 8 of the tags we made for the last stitchery swap, which were 5 centimetres by 10 centimetres or 2 inches by 4 inches. Some of them were shaped like this, some were square, some were done on card. They vary a bit in size and shape. They're not all going to be exactly, but they're all more or less that. Some have got ribbons at the top, some haven't. And I like the idea of the ribbons all coming up the top. I think that's going to look really pretty. So if you would like to follow along and make a tag book like this, here's what you need to start with. So I have taken a piece of, I'm using old curtain lining, reclaimed kind of curtain lining offcuts I got from the lovely B Henderson in our Discord. But you could use whatever you've got. You could use a print if you wanted to, and don't patch it, just fold it from one piece of print fabric and do a lot of straight stitching on it. That would work really well as well. Maybe just line it with the thin batting and just cover it with one beautiful piece of fabric and just do a load of straight stitching. But this is how I've done it. So finished width of this piece is 28 centimeters. I think you could go a bit bigger to be more comfortable and give yourself 30 actually. And then to take the 8 tags, again you could lengthen it if you want to fit more in. I've ended up with 65 centimeters or so there. Again, you could definitely just expand it a little bit, just give yourself another 5 centimeters if you like to give yourself more room. I think wouldn't be a bad idea. So I would say, to be comfortable, 30 by 70 would work. To be honest, I'm using this piece that I've got and making it work, but I think actually I could do with a slightly deeper pocket. So then what I've done is I've turned up a narrow hem all along one side, along the whole length. That's sort of a bit less than, it's probably about 1/4 of an inch hem, less than a centimetre. So that's turned to the back, and then I've turned to the front. I've turned a 4 centimetre pocket up. I've turned up this 4 centimetre flap all the way along. That will become the pocket. I could definitely have covered the pocket with fabric as well, or I could have done the whole thing in a print fabric, but I quite liked the look of just having that bit of plain off-white there with the name embroidered. But you know, you can definitely customise it, and when I do, I've got to do 3 more of these so I might yet do try some other variations. But I just thought I'll come back now and give you the rough dimensions and where we're going. So yeah, turned up a hem all along there, turned up the pocket all along here, fold the whole thing in half. So the pocket part is on the outside, and that turn in is on the inside. Fold the whole thing in half and give it a press to find the middle, that middle point. And now I want to find the middle point here, bearing in mind I want to allow about 1 centimetre or 1/4 inch turning here for when I come to assemble the book at the end. So I'm not going to just meet these up like that. I'm going to overlap by about that centimetre there. There we go. Now I want to find the middle point here, and I'm going to fold over like this and meet this crease up with that crease. Now some of these creases will need to fold back the other way once I eventually fold it into a concertina, but this is just to mark out the areas really. For this one again, I've got to remember I've got that centimetre turning or 1/4 inch turning. So I'm not going to meet these edges up with the fold. I'm going to overlap by that centimetre. So now I can I'm all ready to open it out again and start placing my little pieces of fabric, patching them on. I can write my names on here and embroider over them, and I'm just going to put all of the tags in this side. So that's where it'll be different from what you're going to see next. So that's where I hope it won't get too confusing, but yeah. And then once I've got everything covered with scraps of fabric and stitched into whatever I want to do, as I say, it could just be one piece of fabric or a couple of pieces of fabric. It doesn't have to be as fiddly as what I've done there. And embroidered all my names, then I'll be able to stitch the whole thing together. What will happen is I'll actually put them face to face like that. I'll stitch here and I'll stitch here with that seam allowance that we left, turn it right way out, and then stitch through between each of the pages, and then press it all again so that it will fold up. And then I'll be making a cover, but I'm going to come back and do them in a second video. So that now I'm going to pass back to my former self and hope that I can edit this together so it all makes sense for you. If it's really confusing, please don't be afraid to ask questions in the comment. this was what V sent, the goodies. She made me some lovely little things. Where's the little lucky frog was in there as well, and I might keep him with the tag book. I think that would be quite nice to do. But she put all the things in this lovely bag, and I thought it would be quite nice if the tag book would fit in a bag like this, and then I could make another bag like this out of some of the other fabrics. Like there's this lovely sunflower one, which would be big enough to make a bag for one of them as well. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I've got some lovely fabrics to pull from here. I won't use them all for this at all, but we'll use as many of them as I can, and I'm going to have a lovely time. So for each piece, let's put these out of the way. Let's take one tag at a time. I've also got bits and bobs like this as well, which I'd like to use if I can, here and there. Okay, so this one's from Tori. Lovely, with the batik fabric on it. So I'm kind of thinking a little snippet of the batik fabrics might be nice. But those batik fabrics that I showed earlier, I have got quite large pieces of, and I probably don't need to waste large pieces on this. If I can, I will just stick with these pieces that I've got here. Let's see what I've got. Look at these beautiful things. And let's just do a kind of a little example of what I might do. Some really lovely, the problem is going to be choosing which to use. I think maybe the easiest thing is going to be to take, just tear little pieces, not turn any ends under or anything like that. They could go over into the next square section as well, and then I would just pick another tag that would also coordinate with this. So I think that's how I'm going to go. I think the easiest way is going to be to use the old glue stick and have a little pair of scissors. Maybe just going to deliberately fray all the edges out, and then I haven't got to worry because it's deliberate. I'm going to tear this in half. It doesn't need to be so big of a piece as that. And of course, once I've done all my patching, I'm going to have to do all my ironing again. But having the sections marked out is just going to help me to place everything. I think that's the thing. I don't have to cover all of this fabric. Then I've got this lovely rickrack that Shirley sent me. You see, I could end up with some of this running all along the top of the pocket. And I've got some more that Barbara sent me the other day as well. This is going to be bright and colourful, this book. So let's look at the pictures, the colours I've got in this tag from Tori. So I've got the greens covered. I could do with a little bit of something red. Although I don't have to have all the colours in there, of course. So that's where the Tori one will go. And if I think to myself, okay, so the next tag is going to be... Yeah, let's go with that one. Let's go with that one, because we've got pinks and lime greens in there, so they kind of, they kind of fit, don't they? Right, I'm going to put this one up over there, like that. So I'm not covering all of this. And now I think I'm actually going to commit at least to the point of a little bit of glue. Just enough to tack it in place. I've left that loose so I could either cut that off or cover it with something or glue it down later and stitch when I'm sure. So that's where the Tori tag will pop in. So the next one will pop in there. Now here is this. Is it Jean? Yes, yeah, this is Jean. This is Jean G. Jean Godby, this one. And this was on the card that she sent with the tag. So I put it here because I thought it would be nice to incorporate it into the page. So I don't need to put a lot on this page because this is going to get stitched on. Shall I just tuck it in separately? Yeah, maybe just tuck it in separately. Okay, so a little bit of something pink there would be nice, and that would follow on nicely from the blue, and there is some pink in Tori's as well. So let's see what we got. Cool. Bit of this now. This was sent to me, I believe, by Shirley, and I could put Shirley's tag next, so that could work really well. Oh, and I got this lovely variegated thread that Annette sent me, so it'd be quite nice to use that. Maybe I'll use that to embroider the names. Oh yes. So if I'm going to put Shirley's next, it would be this one. There's a little bit of this kind of very citrusy colour in both of Jean's pieces and Shirley's. So Shirley sent some of this lovely felt as well, and I kind of feel like a little bit of that texture would be nice, because Shirley's pieces are always very dimensional as well. It's nice that there's the glittery bit there and glittery here. Oh, I know what else has to go in somewhere around the Shirley tag is these beautiful ladies that she sent me, because she also went on to send me a big piece of the fabric as well, which we cannot get for love nor money here in the UK. Well, we can get it for a very huge amount of money, like the places that I found were charging 30 quid for postage, you know. So yeah, Shirley put a piece of this in with her swaps, and she also sent me this piece of it, so I think a piece of it has to go in here. So that is going to be, yeah, that has to go. I need to work on these ladies, embroider into them, colour them up, whatever I want to do, and they need to fill the rest of that square. Or at least maybe I'll put 2 of them there and save 2 for later on. Okay, so I'll put that there just to remind me of that. So yeah, you can see where I'm going with this. I'm going to take the whole lot downstairs and just spend probably 2 evenings filling the rest of this. But it seems to be working quite well. Take 2 or 3 tags at a time. I'll glue the pieces down, then tack them down. I'm now wondering whether to leave the pockets just white so I can embroider the names, just embroider the names on there. I think I'm going to do that. I could pin them as well, but glue stick tends to be a little bit easier to manage. And it's just a little bit just to tack it down, and it doesn't seem to gum up the needle or anything, so that's good. So now I can just go through and do some lovely slow stitching on this. So I'll do a little bit with you, and then I'll do the rest off camera, because it is going to be quite a lot of work. I need to shut the window. So I've got a mixture of some of these stranded cottons, which I think Jen sent me these ones. Nice mix of most of the colours I'm going to want in there. And I've also got these cheapy perle cottons that I got from AliExpress. Oh, I seem to have one black thread in there as well for some reason. Oh, they're not all here, some of them are downstairs now, but yeah, that'll give me a bit of different texture as well. So if I pick, what I'll probably do is pick one colour of thread to stitch each little section with. So I'm kind of feeling like limey green would be good, because that would lead well into Jean tag as well. And I do love the idea of using this variegated thread from Annette to embroider the names with. Put a knot in my thread. I'm going to start here, and I'm just going to enjoy some really nice, relaxing, straight stitching. So I'll either use perle threads or 2 strands of the stranded cotton. I'll just use a mixture. Where I've got gaps between them here, I'm not going to worry, but what I could do is just run some deliberately oversized stitches up and down across this gap. Something I quite like the look of, so I'll probably do that as well. But I might do that in a contrasting colour, maybe in the pink. So I think when I've done my books for the squares before, I've kind of been inspired by each square. I've tried to create a page for each square that in some way reflects the colours or the stitches or techniques or whatever that the person has used. So in this case, I'm more being influenced by the colours than anything else. But then when I get odd things like the piece that Jean, the hand stitch piece that Jean put on her card, or the 100 Ladies fabric that Shirley sent. That's where I'll be taking my inspiration for each little page of this tag book. And to say, once I'm all done here with the stitching, I will then have to go back and repress all the folds probably. But that's okay. The folds will hold well enough to show me, to mark out the pages for me. That's what I'm thinking. I just think that's a nice little bit of texture and detail. I might even still introduce odd little bits that take my fancy, so I could think to myself, okay, I like the idea that Tori's cut out that little snail from the fabric and applied it. I might see if there's a fabric here, maybe the flower, maybe these flowers that this flower print that I've used here. I could cut out one of the flowers and applique it somewhere, or perhaps on the pocket, you know, just to reflect that a little bit. Here I could take one of the little elements. I love the way Shirley's done this ring here. Love that. I could add that idea in somewhere. Maybe use a piece of the felt that she's sent me. I still like the idea of just pulling a little element out of each piece. Lots of things I could pick here. Let's just apply a circle of one of the other fabrics for the section that Jean's tag is going to be in. So yeah, there's lots and lots of scope here. Just depends how much time I've got, really. Next step now is to just carry on working my way up the whole of this section, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. I did quite a bit of stitching yesterday evening. As you can see, I've now covered this whole half of my little book. I've done a little mock-up and realised that it's just going to get way too unwieldy if I try and put 8 tags on the other side as well. So I'm rethinking my idea, turning this under the other way, so it wouldn't need quite so much of a turning, would it? Yeah, I'm going to go back in a minute and just record an extra piece for the beginning to show how to end up with this with this layout, basically. So hopefully you'll have seen that when you started. Oh, this is what it's like when you're making up a project as you go along. What it means is also that I can easily pick out smaller groups that kind of all go together nicely. Like I might have had as many as 8 that would fit the Christmas theme, so they could all go into one thing now. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of the stitching with you, and then I'm going to come back for the second and last video and show how I'm going to put it together and put the cover on. Now I've got the method down, it should be quite easy to make 3 more of these. Right, so I've picked out this. I've been mostly using these perle threads actually, and then occasionally I've used a bit of stranded cotton. That was stranded cotton, just depending on what colours I wanted, to be honest. But the different texture's nice too. So I've picked up this colour, which I think kind of is fairly close to these limey green colours there, and I'm going to do some more of these big crosses down here. I just like the look of that. I might go over them twice. To make them show more. Yeah. Right, so now I'll go back up in the other direction. And now I'm going to go back down again because I want it to be bolder. Hopefully I've got just about enough thread to do that in one go. Oh, lovely. I'm glad I've now I've got that design sorted. I'm really happy about that. I hope this video won't have been too confusing for you to watch. If you're still with me by now, I hope it's all making some sense, because I'm going to be jumping backwards and forwards in time as I work out how to do this project. There we go. And of course the nice bit about having this bit folded back, even though I'm not going to be using it now to put another lot of tags in, it means that it will cover all of my messy backsides. We'll put it on the inside. Brilliant. And I can just have fun covering all of this now. I think the design I had in mind originally would have worked if it was paper tags with no thickness at all, but right, I'm just going to use up this last little bit of thread and do a great big French knot in the middle of this. I wound it around 3 times to make it chunky. There we go. And I could do more. I could do French knots all around there. Yeah, I could definitely, I could carry on. In fact, it's quite hard not to. Just wondering whether to put some more green around here as well. I think I will. But that's probably all I can do with that bit of thread now. Let's knot that off at the back. I feel better now. I've worked out where I'm going. I feel much better. Let's have a bit more of this, just to bring that colour out into here and stitch all this down a bit more. Oh, I might do chain stitch around part of it just for a bit of a different texture as well. I've shown a lot of the basic stitches in recent videos, so I'm not going to go through them all every time. But yeah, if you want to see how to do basic stitches, have a look at some of the ones I've done recently with the stitch kit embroidery. The craft of the month box this month has been embroidery, so if you look in my stitch kit playlist, the videos in there have been actually demonstrating some of the sort of simple, just really simple stitches. I'm not an embroiderer, but it was quite fun to actually try doing what I call proper embroidery rather than this, which is more slow stitching. Make it up as you go along, no rules, messy backsides. You know, I think slow stitching is more me, really, but I really enjoyed the challenge of trying to be a little bit more disciplined with my stitching and trying to keep you know, learning how to make the reverse look really tidy, like in some of the sort of vintage linens and things that you see where people embroidered on table napkins and things, and you look at the back and it's almost as beautiful as the front. So yeah, while I was using an embroidery hoop doing that, I did show some of the basic stitches, so they're worth having a look at if you want some ideas and you're new to stitching. I would also advocate watching Create and Craft with Christine's Dictionary of Stitches. Check out her playlist. She did a whole series of short and sweet videos which she did as a live premieres at the time, which is really fun, and she goes through a whole alphabet of stitches. Also Sarah Humphreys, really brilliant. She's an excellent embroiderer and demonstrates a lot of the stitches really well, much better than I do. Okay, so that's that, and then I'm going to embroider the names. I'll just do a back stitch, I think, with and whip it, a whipped back stitch. I think Annette must have done this dyeing herself. I don't know what she's used. Maybe if you're watching, Annette, let us know in the comments how you did this. Probably I should take the time to wind this onto a bobbin, really. Right, let's start here and work along. Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. This is a heat erasable pen, so when I press all this, that will disappear. So I'll work all the way along the name in backstitch first, then I'll go back along and whip the backstitch to make it more of a defined line. I'm just coming to the end now. I've backstitched all the letters. I know it's quite cute just like that, but I always enjoy whipping a backstitch just to make the line bolder and more defined and less like separate stitches. So I'll come back to the beginning of my letter and just take the thread underneath the stitches I've already made. So I'll probably make for some interesting effects with this variegated thread. So I'm not picking up the fabric at all, I'm just taking the needle under the stitch, same direction every time. At the end of a line I'll take the needle through to the back and come up at the beginning of the next line I want to do. And when I come to a corner of a letter I'll do the same thing. I'll take the needle to the back and come up again to keep the corners crisp. So you can see there where I've whipped it, that line's become thicker and it looks less like separate stitches. You see what I mean? I like the look of that. So I will be doing all of the names like that. You can see it's not going to take me too long to do, and then I'll finish covering the rest of that half with patches of fabric. I will really enjoy doing that, and lots of straight stitching like I've done here, and then I'll be ready to assemble it. So I'm gonna go back and record another beginning and then I'll be back next time to finish this up. I hope you've enjoyed that and or been inspired to have a go at something like this and it hasn't all been too confusing and disjointed. Hopefully when I record the extra little bit and edit it all together I managed to make it make sense. If there's any questions at all, please do ask in the comments, and you know you can always message me as well in Discord, or you can email me at my link, all the details in my link tree. So that's it for today. I'll come back and finish that with you next time, and meanwhile this should be going out on Friday the 28th of Feb, so don't forget to join us tomorrow if you can. It's the first Saturday of the month, so it's arty farty party time. There will be lots of giveaways and things. My son Tom will be here with me and we go live from 8 PM UK time to 10 PM UK time. Lots going on. It's a bit of a hectic one. It's not like the Wednesday whip and waffle fairly laid back crafternoon ones. This is a lot more hectic but really fun. So join us if you can, and other than that I just want to say a special thank you to my channel members. There are 38 of them now as we speak. 38 people. I'm blown away by it all. I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. But as I always say, please don't worry if you're not up for it or not able to join as a channel member. You will still be part of the community. Discord community and Facebook group aren't going anywhere. They're all still going to be free. All the same content will still be there. We've just come up with a few little extra perks and things to say a special thank you to our members who choose to support us in that way. But we also appreciate your support just by watching the videos, commenting, liking, subscribing is still free of course, so yeah, please do that if you haven't already, and thanks again for joining me today. I'll see you again really soon, hopefully tomorrow.